Alright, so I'm getting here to show you the Herald Bomber or something like that. I'm not really sure what the fuck the name's called. Anyways, it uses Heralds to cause a lot of damage. That's the general idea. I don't know how powerful Heralds were, so I figured out, you know, experiment with them to see what happens. So I have +3 Scepters with Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder with powers on them. But since both of them have powers, let's take those out. What else do we need? What else? Let's see. 4 links. Let's take out that gem, and that gem. Barracks Grip, Nova really has those as well, and that's about it. So we've got 3 dragons on, which makes everything kind of do wacky shit. Makes lightning damage freeze, and makes, what's the other important thing? Fire damage shock. And after that, what do you have? It doesn't fucking matter, it's just regular gear, you know, cap resistances or whatever. Fucking, I wanna go to the reef. Put that shit in. Dry woods. We got this. So I usually use a Barracks Grip because it's pretty much best in slot because it provides free leech, which is very, very nice. So yeah, let's see what happens. I've unlinked Ball Lightning. So I don't really know where the damage comes from in this build. I would just say, yeah, from everything, but that feels like a cop-out. Yeah, let's not attack golems that are resistant to lightning without a lightning pin in. They don't take any damage from it. This fucking dog, dude. Anyways, yeah. So, the build uses a Herald of Thunder with elemental proliferation with the 3 dragons. That's kind of an important aspect because 3 dragons makes your lightning damage shock. Freeze, as a mechanic, is very hard to do. So, basically, if you want to freeze something, if you do an amount of damage to a target, they'll freeze for 1/3 of the duration that they'll get shocked for. So say you do like 100 damage to a target and they get, what? Wait, 100 lightning damage to a target, they're shocked for like, I don't know, 9 seconds, versus like if you do 100 cold damage, they'll get frozen for 3 seconds. So freezing is generally much more difficult than, shocking something. The neat little benefit of the 3 dragons is that lightning damage has very, very large top ends. So currently Herald of Thunder has a 5,800 top end, which means that it freezes basically anything as long as it's up. Let's go. So in order to actually cause Herald of Thunder to proc, cause Herald of Thunder to go off, you have to kill a shocked mob. So in order to shock a mob, I took a lot of shock duration or shock nodes of the tree, so I have static blows and I have breath of lightning as well as elementalist and what's celestial punishment. So I've got like about 30% something chance to shock. So generally pretty good chance to shock. So whenever Herald of Thunder gets up, it'll basically freeze the whole screen for its duration. Yeah, get fucked. On top of that, I have a decent amount of freeze chance, Fingers of Frost, and Breath of Rime. So there's 60% increased freeze duration, which lowers the threshold on how easy it is to freeze something. And here's Vol Ice Nova because it's hilarious. Anyways, just wrecks the screen. Yeah, so it lowers the freeze threshold required, for like damage threshold required to freeze something. So on top of like, you know, lightning damage having a far higher top end than cold damage does generally to cause a freeze, it's easier to freeze stuff. So basically, it's a really, really easy build to do. Pretty safe. As long as Herald of Thunder's up, you're basically safe against most anything, even Devourers, because they pop up, bang, get frozen, and then they, you know, you just sort of kill them. I'm using Asenath's Gentle Touch. Interesting choice of gloves. I just kind of threw them on because I found them at some point. Then I realized that they're actually pretty good because temporal chains on hit is actually a pretty good thing if you actually want to freeze guys for a long duration. So say mobs pop up out of the ground with Herald of Thunder, it hits them, causes them to be hit with temp chains, and then causes a freeze effect on them. So temporal chains, if you ever have it on a mob, will make it so buffs and debuffs and any sort of thing on them will expire at about half the rate. It's like 40 or 60% of the normal rate, I think, in the current status of it. So if a mob actually gets shocked from Herald of Thunder, they're temp chained, so they shock, or the freeze lasts longer, and then they are what, they're frozen longer? Or they're frozen and it expires slower. So in essence, they're frozen longer. Yes, until they die. Anyways, that's sort of the build. Works way better when all the stuff is in, you know, like, you know, solar projectiles. Oh, click that in. God. Damn mouse accuracy. Epic, isn't it? Get those towers in there. Basically, that's kind of the build. Really easy to level up. Was pretty much deathless until I got some maps. And even playing really clumsily and not even caring what I was doing. So yeah. In general, the way this character works is ball lightning will hit a mob, cause a freeze, and then the frozen mob might die, which explodes. And since Herald of Ice is linked to Cold to Fire, which is basically the best damage gem for Herald of Ice, the fire damage can then cause a shock, which procs Herald of Thunder, which will then start freezing everything. So you just start attacking and stuff dies. If you really just want to force a shock, Fire Trap with Ugly Prolif is good enough for that. But yeah, that's basically the build. Got to level 87 with it pretty easily, you know, where I'm at.
You were moved.
18 deaths, so, you know, playing really clumsily the entire way. But yeah, basically the build. I'm good at, and I will see you next time.